Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another video of Be the Best DFS Daily Fantasy Sports Talk. My name is Bradford Best, and today is August 22nd, 2016, and I will be sharing with you all my lineup strategy for tonight's main slate on FanDuel. Haven't made a video since Friday, just to give you a recap of how I've done the last couple of days. Yesterday really wasn't good. On the main slate, I put up 106 points. I had Drew Smiley. I stacked up the Tigers without Justin Upton, unfortunately, and wasn't able to cash for anything. But on Saturday, August 20th, I had a very, very good night. 179.5 points. Had King Felix at pitcher and ended up cashing for like $84. Profited $65. So that was a really, really good night for me. Look at the lineup real quick. I had Hernandez, and I stacked the Nationals. I had Harper and Murphy and Trey Turner, who all homers. So Saturday was a really, really good night. But that's over with. The weekend is over with. Today is a new day. It's Monday, a new slate. I believe it's about 8 games on here. A new opportunity to be great. A new opportunity to be the best. So let's dig into this. Starting at the first position, the most important position of pitcher. My favorite pitcher for tournaments and GPPs tonight is John Lester for $11,000, who plays for the Chicago Cubs. They're playing the San Diego Padres at San Diego. Now Lester, he's the highest priced pitcher on the slate, but there's a lot of things I like about him. I like the ballpark they're playing in, Petco Park, which is a pitcher's park. The Padres recently they've been struggling against left-handed pitching. I believe it was on Saturday. They played against the Diamondbacks, and Robbie Ray, who's a left-hander, I believe he got like 13 strikeouts on him. And I believe in that game the Padres only scored 1 run. Prior to that, last week when they played Tampa Bay, Drew Smiley had a strong performance against them, a left-handed pitcher. Also, the rookie Blake Snell, he had a strong performance against them. And just thinking off the top of my head, the series before that, Steven Matz of the New York Mets, a left-hander, he had a strong performance against them, holding them to like a no-hitter up until like the 7th or 8th inning. So needless to say, they been struggling against left-handed pitcher in the recent weeks or whatever. And John Lester, he's a quality left-handed pitcher. I think he's at least as good as, if not better than, Robbie Ray. So I think he have a lot of high upside, for tonight's game. If you look at Lester's game log, his last game he had 50 fantasy points on August 17th. If you look at his last road game, which was on August 5th at Oakland, he had 51 fantasy points. So he's definitely shown that he has the capability to put up a strong fantasy performance on the road. He does have a couple of bad games on here. If you look at, let's see, July 24th at Milwaukee, 21 fantasy points. But Miller Park, that's a hitter's park. But other than his game log, I feel the win security is high for John Lester in this game, which is very important for those 12 points. The Cubs are a better team than the Padres. The Cubs have things to play for. They're fighting to get in the postseason. So with the Cubs offense combined with John Lester pitching, I think he's an excellent tournament play tonight. And also, typically I don't like paying up for pitcher. But in this case, his price being $11,000 being the top price, I think is a good tournament play because many people probably going to want to spend down and save a little money, and which would drive his ownership levels to a lower percentage, which would benefit you if you have him in your lineup owned at a low percentage. So John Lester, I really, really like him tonight. When I think about the Padres, their top hitters, Jankowski, who normally leads off, Ryan Schimpf, and Dickerson, they're all left-handers. The only guy that kind of scares me in the Padres lineup tonight is Will Myers, who does have 1 career home run against John Lester. But I feel that if he can find a way to get past Myers, he shouldn't have a problem with the rest of the lineup. Another thing to add on to it, National League Park, so you get that pitcher's position. So for me, John Lester, he's that guy for me in tournaments. I'm gonna go ahead and just talk about a couple of the other pitchers on the slate. Um, I want to talk about David Price for 10,000. I think he's also a good play, playing at a pitcher's park at Tropicana Field. Maybe a narrative. He's playing his former team in the Tampa Bay Rays. If you look at the Rays lineup in their BVP statistics, nobody in the lineup really has a strong history versus David Price. And then also the win security. Boston is one of the top offenses in the majors. And, Blake Snell, being a rookie, he's pretty good. But going up against the Red Sox, I'm confident that the Red Sox will win this game. So, in David Price's last couple of games has been pretty strong. August 17th, 39 fantasy points. That's not too good. But August 12th against Arizona at home, he had 51 fantasy points. But if you keep looking down on his game log, on July 10th versus these same Tampa Bay Rays, although it was at Fenway Park, he had 66 fantasy points. And Fenway Park is known to be like a decent hitter's park. And he had 66 fantasy points against the Rays just last month. So now being at a pitcher's park, he could probably even have a better game. But with all those good points, I still get a little nervous about Price because, it just seems like on the road he'd be kind of shaky. And also, being that his price is $1,000 less than John Lester, I honestly think David Price would be the chalk tonight. I think he might be the most popular pitcher pick. Good ballpark, a 66 fantasy point game against this same team a month ago. The Red Sox offense, I can't deny it. He does look good. But, I just think his ownership might be kind of high, and I'd rather go with Lester. Now, despite saying that, if you're playing cash games, head-to-heads, or 50-50 little tournaments or contests, I think David Price is a top cash game play. But for tournaments, I'd rather go with Lester because of the ownership, and I feel there's a little more risk with David Price because the past few games, the Tampa Bay Rays, their offense has been pretty strong. So I'll just say David Price is an interesting play. If I enter any cash game contest tonight, I'll definitely put Price in there. But for tournaments, I'd rather go with John Lester. And other pitchers for consideration, I see Carrasco on here. I'm not interested in him because I don't believe he's pitched good his last couple of games. Well, I'm wrong. He had 41 fantasy points in his last game, but he had 11 strikeouts, so that's what pushed it up. But I actually like Oakland's offense tonight, and the park in Oakland is a pitcher's park, so Carrasco could be an interesting play, but I really don't have any interest in him. And to be honest with you, with an 8-game slate, the only two pitchers I was considering was Price and Lester. And, I gave the edge to Lester. But I definitely understand if you choose to play David Price. Let me see if there's any other possible options for pitcher. I guess Blake Snell would be the ultra super contrarian option, going up against the Redskins. The Red Sox. It is a pitcher's park. If you want to get risky like that, that could be a very, very risky play, but you never know. It could work. Baseball can be unpredictable at times. And maybe the pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Taillon, he's been surprisingly pretty good this year. His last game he didn't do too well, but, Pittsburgh PNC Park is supposed to be a park that suppresses, right-handed power. And, being in a pitcher's ballpark against a Houston team that can struggle at times and be inconsistent, that could work if you want to be contrarian and be totally different and go against the grain. But like I said, I didn't analyze the pitcher position much. I'm going with Lester, the highest priced pitcher on the board. Now, moving on to the rest of my lineup, as far as my bets and my offense, when I put a player like John Lester at 11,000, it's going to make my salary really, really tight, and it's going to force me to do like a lot of value plays because I have a limited amount of salary left. And there's a lot of good offenses tonight. If I go through the games, I think both Washington and Baltimore could be good stacks to have. Steven Strasburg got scratched tonight, so Washington be throwing someone out there who's making their very first start. The Seattle Mariners are my favorite offense, and I got a stack with them tonight. I'll go into that as I go through my lineup. I think Arizona is a good offense to target. Chicago Cubs. I think the Red Sox are definitely a good offense to target. Both sides of the Milwaukee and Colorado game. And for the Cleveland game, I actually like Oakland. And I got a mini Oakland stack in this lineup that I'm about to go over right now. So at the first position of catcher position, my favorite catcher for tournaments and GPPs is going to be Stephen Vogt of the Oakland Athletics. It's a lefty versus righty matchup. He had the day off yesterday. The wind is supposed to be blowing to right center. Yeah, to right center field. Oakland is a pitcher's park, but and Carrasco has been good this season. But I like his home run upside, and with having the day off yesterday, he's someone that I like as the first part of my Oakland Athletics mini stack that I have in this lineup. Other catchers to consider, definitely Wellington Castillo if he starts, because the pitcher for the Braves, Fulton Newich, he struggles a lot sometimes. He can give up home runs. I think Gary Sanchez for the Yankees, that guy, he's been on fire since he's got called up to the majors. So definitely, I think he's good for cash and could be good for tournaments because of his good home run upside. And maybe Wilson Ramos because of the ballpark, playing at Camden Yards, going up against a pitcher making his very first career major league start. So Ramos, I think he's another good option at catcher for tournaments and GPPs. But for me, putting together a mini stack of Oakland Athletics, I like Stephen Vogt tonight at catcher for tournaments and GPPs. Hopefully he starts. Moving on to the next position of first base. Remember, I have to find value plays because I spent up on pitcher. So the first part of my Seattle Mariners stack, Adam Lynn for 2,800. When I was doing my research, Adam Lynn, I believe, is 14 at bats. He's batting .357 with 2 career home runs against Michael Pineda. Pineda for the Yankees, he's a good pitcher, but I really, really like those BVP statistics. And Lynn on the season, he has 18 home runs, so he has legit home run upside. Yesterday he had 0 fantasy points, but the 2 games prior, August 20th, 12.7, and August 19th, 18.7. So when I consider his BVP statistics versus Pineda, and also just trying to put together a little stack, and definitely his price tag below 3,000, I like Adam Lynn tonight at first base. Other than Lynn, if you're not interested in the Mariners stack or you have money to spend, I think Chris Davis for the Baltimore Orioles is a good play. He's a poor batter as far as hitting for average, but he definitely does have a lot of power. 29 home runs on the season, righty versus lefty matchup, good ballpark in Camden Yards. He's definitely in play. I think my favorite first baseman, if I didn't have to consider salary, would be Hanley Ramirez of the Boston Red Sox. I think the Red Sox are a very, very good stack tonight. I just can't afford them when I, put John Lester in there. But for 3,800, Hanley Ramirez, lefty versus righty matchup, going up against a rookie, Blake Snell. Tough ballpark, but he's definitely could be in play. Of course, the the top guys on the board, Ortiz, Rizzo, Goldsmith, that goes without saying. They're definitely in play. Um, I think Arizona stack and a Boston stack and a Cubs stack could work tonight. So a lot of options at first base. And honestly, that's all I see for it tonight at first base. There's definitely better options than Adam Lynn, but for the purposes of a Seattle Mariners stack, I like Lynn for 2,800 at first base. Moving on to the next position, the second part of my Seattle Mariners stack, I like Robinson Cano. He's one of my favorite players to pick at second base, and I like how his price went down a little. He's priced at 3,400 tonight, and sometimes he be in the high 3,000s. But he also has a good BVP statistics versus Michael Pineda. I believe it's 12 at bats, or maybe 9 at bats. I'm not sure, but he's batting 333 with 2 career home runs. Lefty versus righty matchup, 28 home runs on the season. Let's see, what else do I see? He went hitless last night, so a lot of times when players go hitless, they want to redeem themselves. So when I consider all those factors, decent price tag, BVP statistics, lefty versus righty matchup, and Cano just being a good home run hitter, I like him as the second part of my Seattle Mariners stack. Other options other than Cano, if you like the Red Sox, definitely Pedroia. He's leading off tonight also, so Dustin Pedroia. You can always consider Altuve. I think there's going to also Daniel Murphy. I think there's going to be a lot of offense in the Orioles and Nationals game in general. Zobrist, he has a good career history against Edwin Jackson. One career home run, so a lot of good second basemen on the board. Just looking through it, I don't really like Kipnis tonight. I could be wrong. Could get Altuve, but I always get the Astros wrong. So again, Robinson Cano, he's the player I like tonight at second base, second part of my Seattle Mariners stack. I'm gonna move on to the next position of third base. The third part of my Seattle Mariners stack, Kyle Seager, lefty versus righty matchup against Michael Pineda. He's 3 for 6 career against him, decent batting average. But Seager, he definitely has home run upside, 23 home runs on the season. He also went hitless on yesterday, so hopefully he's trying to make up for getting 0 hits, and he can knock a home run out tonight. Other third baseman you can consider tonight. Let's see. I think if you want to be contrarian, a Tampa Bay Rays stack would be nice. Longoria, Forsythe, stick a couple other Rays in there, that could work. So Longoria at third base. Nolan Arenado had a big game on last night, so he could be trending towards a hot streak. He's in play at Miller Park, a good hitter's park. I'm sorry. VR is leading off. Always consider leadoff hitters. Manny Machado, like I said, the Nationals got, I think the guy named is AJ Cole. First career start on the road, so an Orioles stack could be very, very viable tonight. Maybe Jake Lamb. I'm kind of off of Jake Lamb. I've been picking Jake Lamb a lot, over the past couple of weeks, and he's been letting me down like every night. But going up against Folty, the pitcher for the Braves, who tends to give up the long ball, Jake Lamb, he could get a home run tonight. Chase Field in Arizona being a hitter's park. So if you got an Arizona stack, lefty versus righty matchup, I definitely can see Jake Lamb. But, for me, I'm focused on the Seattle Mariners, and I really, really like Kyle Seager tonight at third base for a good price of $3,200. Moving on to the next position of shortstop. Now, remember I said I had the Oakland Athletics mini stack. I had to find all these value plays because I got Lester. So at shortstop, the second part of my Oakland Athletics mini stack is Marcus Semien for $2,900. He hasn't been playing well. Yesterday he had 15.2 fantasy points, but he hasn't hit a home run in a while. I'm looking at his game log on FanDuel, and he don't have a home run in the 10 games or so that they have listed. But I like his price tag of $2,900. I'm gonna have to keep an eye out on the starting lineups. If you read his update, they said Semien will be placed on the paternity list at some point, this week. So hopefully he starts today. But at 2,900, I really like him as the second part of my Oakland Athletics mini stack. Just gonna look at statistics: 9 stolen bases on the season, low batting average of 238, but the home run upside is there with 23 home runs on the season. Tough ballpark in Oakland, but if he hit it far enough, it don't matter what ballpark it's in. Other shortstops to consider, I guess Brad Miller. I always thought Brad Miller wasn't really a good hitter in a lefty-lefty matchup, but he's proven me wrong. So definitely Brad Miller if you want to do a Tampa Bay Rays stack. Trey Turner, of course, for 4,100. He's leading off. I think both sides of the Orioles and Nationals game, you could stack them either way. You could stack that whole game. I really expect a lot of offense to be in that game. I can't mess with Correa. Y'all know me. I cannot get the Astros right for nothing. So Correa is not on my list. Boston Red Sox stack, definitely Bogarts. If you pair him up with Pedroia, they bat 1 and 2 in the lineup. And I guess a sneaky play might be Descalso for the Colorado Rockies. Lefty versus righty matchup in a good hitter's park at Miller Park. So he could be a sneaky play. But other than that, there's no one else I see at shortstop. And for the purposes of my mini stack, I like Marcus Semien for the Oakland Athletics at 2,900. All right, moving on to the last position. To complete my Oakland Athletics mini stack, one of the outfielders I like is Chris Davis of the Oakland Athletics for $3,000. He's just at a great price. He's a really good player. He helped me out a lot last week. Every night I picked him, he was hitting home runs. But if you look at his game log, the last time they were home was August 14th. Yeah, August 14th. And he homered in his last 3 home games. And he homered on yesterday also. 32 home runs on the season. And I've learned that he actually hits right-handed pitching pretty good. He hits for good hard contact. I didn't know that. I used to only pick him when he was facing a left-handed pitcher. But I've learned that he can hit right-handed pitching pretty well also. Now again, Oakland is a tough ballpark. But, it doesn't matter if it's a tough ballpark. If you got a power hitter, if they hit it far enough, it still counts as a home run. And at a very, very good price of $3,000, I like Chris Davis for the third part of my Oakland Athletics mini stack. And I'm going to move on to the other outfielders I got. To close out my Seattle Mariners stack, I pick Leonis Martin for $2,600. It's basically a salary move. It fits right in because I needed some value plays. He has 14 home runs on the season, so he got a little bit of pop in his bat. Lefty versus righty matchup. Pineda is a good pitcher, but he's on the road, so he could be vulnerable. He didn't have too good of a game his last game, but Martin, I think he's a good play to close out the Seattle Mariners stack. I'm gonna look at his game log real quick. Oh, I really didn't even know this before I picked him. His last 3 games has been pretty good. August 21st, which was yesterday, 15.4 fantasy points. August 20th, 30.9 fantasy points. And August 19th, 15.2 fantasy points. So he's on a little hot streak right now. And, lefty versus righty matchup, complete a Seattle Mariners stack. I think he's a great play for me at a great price of $2,600. And the last player I got in my lineup now, as it's currently constructed, I got a one-off in Yasmani Tomas for the Arizona Diamondbacks. This guy has been having a great season too. 25 home runs on the season. I know if y'all look at his game log, y'all gonna see on what was that? His last home game, August 17th, 66.6 fantasy points. His last 3 home games, he got a combined 4 home runs. So, you know, he went homerless in those 4 games on the road at San Diego that they just played. But his last 3 home games, he got 4 home runs. And now they back home against a pitcher in Folty for the Braves, who I've seen in person give up home runs. I like Yasmani Tomas for 3,300 as a one-off play to complete this lineup that I have right now. So just to recap everything real quick, for me at pitcher, it was just between John Lester and David Price. I felt David Price would be kind of chalky, and I felt there was more risk with him. So I decided to just spend up and get John Lester. And for my lineup, I stacked tonight. I did a mini stack of the Oakland Athletics of Stephen Vogt, Marcus Semien, and Chris Davis. And then I did a stack of the Seattle Mariners of Robinson Cano, Kyle Seager, Adam Lynn, and Leonis Martin. And then I got a one-off of Yasmani Tomas. Now it's 4:52 here in Decatur, Georgia. Lineups haven't came out yet. So, you know, I'll probably make some adjustment to it, because I'm sure somebody that I got in here probably won't start tonight, so I have to adjust some things around. So basically, you know, picking Lester at pitcher, I couldn't go for the top offenses, so I think Seattle is a good sneaky offense, and Oakland is another offense that will go overlooked. But if you do pick another pitcher and you have the money to spend, or you can find a way to fit, you know, certain players in your lineup, I would say definitely look at the Boston Red Sox, the Washington Nationals, the Baltimore Orioles, and the Chicago Cubs. Those the top 4 teams, I think, at the top of my head, who are in good spots to score a lot of runs tonight. But for me, I'm rolling with the Oakland Athletics and the Seattle Mariners, you know, being contrarian, being a little different, and hopefully it works out for me. So that's about it for, you know, my lineup strategy for tonight. As always, I want to thank everyone who's taking the time out to view this video. I definitely want to thank everyone who's subscribed to the YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. I believe we're up to like 25 subscribers. Thanks to everyone who's joined the Facebook group, Be the Best DFS, Daily Fantasy Sports Talk. Thank you to everyone who's following on Twitter, at Be the Best DFS. And also, I just created an Instagram page. Be sure to look it up, at Be the Best DFS, or just search the hashtag Be the Best DFS. Just trying to grow this brand, trying to get better at DFS, share my thoughts and ideas, and help others get better, you know, while I'm doing all this. If you like the video, please, you know, just comment, subscribe, tell people about it, and just give me some feedback. And hopefully tonight is a good night. I'm really, really excited. I'm off from work. Don't have to work the Braves game or anything like that. So I'm confident that tonight will be a good night. You know, hopefully, you know, I can win some money, and hopefully you all can win some money as well. Again, thank you for all the support, and I'll leave you with what I always leave you with. Try to be the best tonight. All right, I'm out.